Good morning, everybody. Such a pleasure for me to be in front of you and share some of my thoughts in terms of how an MBE could pivot during the pandemic. I'm so glad that I've been given this opportunity. So I thank the Mount Plains Council for giving me this opportunity. A little bit about myself. I'm the co-CEO and managing partner of iDataLytics. April, if you can move on to the first slide, please. The next one, please. Thank you. Yeah, so iDataLytics, a little bit of background about iDataLytics. We are a full-service technology services consulting firm based out of Overland Park, Kansas. Most of our work that we do covers the United States, and we do serve a few clients outside the US as well, back in the Middle East and India as well. We've been fortunate enough to have a good set of clientele, all the way ranging from small size and mid size all the way to multinational corporations. Over these past 9 years of existence, we've been lucky and fortunate enough to have an excellent track record of growing the business. The only dent that we had in terms of our growth was specifically the previous year, and I'll go into a little bit of details in terms of what happened there during the pandemic. Great, track record of serving our clients. 100% of them are referenceable, and most of the work that we do is in the space of digital transformation. So we believe that all clients out there can really improve their top line and bottom line by leveraging the best in terms of technology enablement, and that's what we help our clients do. If you can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. We are a certified data and analytics service provider. What that means is that we can go into any client and really help them transform digitally by leveraging the latest and greatest in terms of the cloud enablement technologies. We are a certified Microsoft solutions provider and gold partner. What that means is that we do come to the table with specific capabilities of data, Power BI enablement, cloud enablement, and Dynamics 365 ERP related services. We also have a small staffing division that we do help our clients find the best talent in the industry for enabling their technology initiatives. Next slide, please. So the question that everybody would have in your mind is, did a company like iDataLytics, which had a pretty good run in terms of doing its business, have any impact from COVID? And the answer to that is an absolute yes. We were not immune to what happened over 2020 and what is going on to date in 2021. So there are three areas that I want to kind of focus on in terms of the impacts, right? The first one is the loss of revenue that we had to face. Like any other business, we are at the mercy of our clients in terms of giving us a steady state of business. And that would be in the form of, SOW-based contracts, service agreements, specific projects that we do for them and such. So we did see an impact across all kinds of services that we had to deliver for our clients. The second area that I want to talk a little bit about is, how did this impact our sales pipeline? At the end of the day, we all know that COVID dramatically, imposed what you could do or what you could not do in terms of how you could go reach your customers during the lockdowns, and how did we kind of adjust ourselves to kind of face the grim reality of selling during the pandemic. And the third thing is, as a business, especially a small business, what were the things that you could do or you had to do in terms of changing your operations, and what were some of the challenges that you had to face, and how did you manage to cope up with those? If you can go to the next slide, please. So in terms of revenue, so a couple of things that I wanted to share, right? As soon as the pandemic hit, and probably back in April and May, we started getting calls from our clients saying that, hey, Sunil, the situation is looking bad. We're doing belt tightening of our budgets. We would want to kind of share that pain. And what that means is that, either, some of the projects that we were about to execute or sign with you guys have been put on hold. That was a common theme in terms of what we heard from some of our clients. Some of our other set of clients came back and said, you know what, we had agreed to a bill rate of so and so dollars. We are trying to tighten our belts in terms of our budgets. We want to make sure that we save everything in terms of our expenditure on IT spend, IT services spend. Would you be willing to take a haircut in terms of your bill rates? And that was something that they came back to us with. So as a business sitting here, obviously those are not the things that you would like to hear or listen on a daily basis. But then what do? You don't have a choice. So that's where we had to basically go back to our clients, really kind of show that we are a partner that they could trust and rely on in tough times. So the way we kind of did that was that, hey, if you want us to take a bill rate, that's great. We can do that. However, we want to make sure that we put that in writing, and also make sure that you guys will, really kind of revise those rates back to the original rates once things start, getting back to normal. So make sure that, you do see that there is some contractual language out there that'll help you back and, put things back into the state of normalcy once you start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. The other thing that is critical here is that your clients are watching you, right? They are trying to assess who is a customer or who is a partner that is going to go along with them and help them during the time of crisis. Just like how we are being impacted by the crisis, we want to understand that our clients are going through that crisis as well. And this is an excellent opportunity if you're an MBE to showcase to them that hey, you're willing to take the share of the pain from them as well. And believe me, your clients are going to remember what you did during the tough times. So treat this as an opportunity for you to showcase that you're a willing partner trying to share the pain. The other thing that we also kind of internally discussed among the leadership within iDataLytics was that hey, there are a lot of these projects that were scheduled to come on board, but they're not going to happen now. So that did leave a lot of time for us to actually free time that we got because we were not as committed to the delivery side of things because some of those projects did not take off. So we used that time to actually go back and retool ourselves in terms of the areas that we always wanted to do a few things or more, but we didn't have the time before. So that meant that we had to go back and tweak our offerings. We wanted to explore any new capabilities or offerings that we wanted to offer in the future for our clients. We wanted to make sure that we up our ante in terms of the training that we provided for our consultants and any of the certifications that they had to go through to basically spruce up their own skills. So there's a lot of opportunity to think, a lot of time for us to kind of revamp our strategy and then course correct or do some of the things that hitherto we didn't have the luxury because we were so busy trying to serve our clients. So those are excellent opportunities for us to kind of pivot and look at how do you valuably utilize that time that you have to really look at things that you can do to improve your business. In terms of the sales dimension, that was a real challenge, right? So you had people who were boots on the ground who had to go knock on clients' doors, meet with them, have coffee, have lunch, engage with them on personal one-on-one meetings, and none of that was possible because of the pandemic. So we all had to kind of pivot and make sure that we had to still do the same kind of outreach and engagement in terms of sales and marketing, but still rely on the virtual kind of setting, right? And one thing that we strangely found that was benefiting us in terms of our sales was that because our clients really didn't have to kind of set up meetings to come to a lunch or go to a coffee, they really had a lot more time in terms of being willing to meet with folks such as us. So it was a lot more easier for them to schedule a virtual meeting, and that actually played into our advantage because they didn't have to take time to schedule time to come meet, go drive somewhere and then meet us. All of that was time savings for them. In turn, they found more time on their calendar to start engaging us virtually. So we really took advantage of that. And then strangely enough, we even saw that there were a lot of people who were much more freer than they used to be. We also wanted to make sure that we leverage what we could do in terms of our work from home capabilities. Suddenly we were faced with people or employees who are not coming to the office. They had to basically work from home. So we had to really figure out how do you engage with your employees, make sure that they are delivering to our clients, make sure that they are as actively engaged in terms of their peers, they are actively engaged in terms of seeking advice from their management. So there were a lot of things that we had to kind of adjust and relearn and retool in terms of making sure that we didn't miss a beat in terms of our delivery to our customers, but at the same time, the drawbacks that came with the personal engagement being missing out there, how do we correct for those and then make those necessary adjustments? In terms of the operations, I think this was something that was very critical for us. We had to really go back and look at every spend that we did in the company and question every dollar that we spent on whatever it was, right? We had to ask the tough questions. Is this spend really required during this pandemic? How can we eliminate some of these line items and make sure that we can either reduce the spend or totally eliminate it? So we were really tightening our belt in terms of our fiscal discipline, and that really helped us get through the year because we found that there were a lot of dollars that we could find and that we could save and conserve and really keep that as something that we could utilize for things when they really started opening up. So these were some of the things that we did try doing, and I would say that we have been relatively successful in terms of surviving the last 12 to 14 months. Yes, things could have been better, but things could have been a lot more worse had we not done some of these things. If you go to the next slide, please. So what did we feel in terms of the last 12 to 14 months, right? COVID was really a teaching moment. So if there are two or three things that I want to emphasize, actually four things that I want to emphasize here in terms of takeaways. One, we learned what it meant to survive, right? At the end of the day, if you all have gone through the last 14 months or 12 months and come out of it surviving as a business, you got to pat yourself on the back first to make sure that you take credit for surviving through this tough time and coming through this, because unfortunately there are a lot of businesses who couldn't make it, and I feel for them. And if you are among those people who were able to survive, kudos to you. So that is definitely great achievement. Number two, having perspective, right? We always have the opportunity to look at things half glass full or half glass empty. And I, for one, am of the belief that during these tough times, it's always important for us to look at things at half glass full. Yes, things could have been better, but given what happened, things could have been a lot more worse. And I always try to look at other companies or other MBEs, fellow MBEs who couldn't make it, and I could, thank my blessings in terms of, hey, I could have been in a worse situation. So let me take this as something that was really positive that happened over the last 12 months. Could have been worse, and I could have been in a bad situation. But where I am right now, I have no complaint. Agility, right? It's important for us to kind of be able to, transform ourselves in these tough times. So whether it is, pivoting in terms of how you do your spend, in terms of how you operate your business, in terms of how you deal with your clients, how you deal with your employees, all of that requires some quick changes, quick thinking. So you got to be really agile in terms of your decision making. So here's where good leadership comes into play. As a leader, your employees are actually looking up to you to really give them guidance as to how do they endure these tough times. And as a leader, it is upon you to make sure that you paint a vision as to how you will survive, how you see yourself and the business for 12 to 14 months from now, and then kind of paint that positive picture as to what it will be in terms of things coming back to normal. And the last thing is adjustments, right? You got to do adjustments, whether it is in your own personal life to take care of what you're going through in your business, adjustment in terms of your professional life, in terms of how you go about running your business, dealing with your people. So adjustment is the key. Be clear in terms of what you need to expect. There are some things that you'll get, some things that you won't, but you got to have that perspective again to deal with the situation and then move forward, staying positive, and then making sure that you are ready when the things return back to normal. So those are some of the things that I learned, and it was certainly a teaching moment. So even though we as a business did not have to pivot dramatically changing our business, we did have to make some adjustments and deal with the situation at hand. And I think that's where I'd probably end this. And I'll be more than glad to take any questions that you might have before we move on to the next speaker.